now, the families of victims in the deadly mid-air collision suing American Airlines, the Army, and the FAA.
They will be seeking the accountability that they are owed.
The latest on the investigation as families say these groups utterly failed to keep people safe.
A scooter crash on the National Mall ends with 3 people in the tidal basin. We've got a closer look at this morning's water rescue.
Soggy weather continues to hang on as we wrap up this Wednesday. We'll also be letting you know when you should be ready for more steady rain on Thursday.
Plus, a drug-resistant bacteria spreading rapidly across the nation.
I think that older people need to be worried. I think that children need to be worried.
What makes this bacteria so dangerous and what you should watch out for. And we're helping you stretch your dollar with spooky season creeping up. How you can create a costume that will turn heads while sticking to your budget. Good afternoon. Breaking right now following the mid-air collision near DCA earlier this year. The victims' families are now suing American Airlines, the FAA, and the Army. Thanks for joining us for DC News Now here at 4. I'm Annalisa Gale. Mark Hall has the evening off. Well, the lawsuit was filed on behalf of the family of one of the 67 people killed back on January 29th when a military Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines flight. The NTSB has highlighted a long list of issues that likely contributed to the crash there, but the final report identifying the exact cause won't be ready until next year. Preliminary reports say the Black Hawk helicopter was flying above its limit and that the route that it was on was too close to the plane's flight plan. Preliminary reports also indicate that the FAA failed to recognize an alarming pattern of near misses at DCA before that crash. The brother of Casey Crafton, who died in the crash, spoke at a news conference today on behalf of Casey's widow.
Nearly 8 months ago, our lives were shattered in a moment, and the grief has been unimaginable. Yet because of systemic failures and reckless disregard for safety, his life, along with 66 others, was taken. Casey was betrayed by the system he trusted. We all were.
Casey previously worked as an aviation mechanic. This is a developing story, and we'll be sure to bring you the very latest as soon as we learn more. Well, a call for help coming from the National Mall this morning. DC Fire and EMS crews responding to a water rescue after a scooter accident landed a man in the tidal basin. DC News Now's Randy Bass joining us live now near the area where this happened. And Randy, you've learned 2 people actually jumped into that water to help when this all happened.
Yes, rescue crews tell us they first got the call just after 7:45 this morning for reports of a person in the water here at the tidal basin. We've learned a man on a scooter fell in this morning, leaving him with serious injuries. Photos and videos from DC Fire and EMS show this morning's response after 3 people ended up in the tidal basin's waters after a reported scooter crash Wednesday morning. The one on the scooter left with serious injuries and taken to a hospital. 2 others jumping in to try to help and got themselves out of the water before EMS got there.
Sure, it's very scary. I've ridden those scooters a couple times myself, and granted I'm older, but they're pretty scary.
People on wheels along the National Mall today shocked to hear what happened this morning.
I think a lot of people aren't aware of the hazards and aren't familiar with the scooters themselves.
Areas around the tidal basin and the National Mall, popular spots for biking and scooting, especially for tourists visiting town.
This is my first time, our first time on these scooters. We're in from out of town for just a couple of days. I thought this would be a fun way to get around.
Trying to stay alert on their scooters and out of the water.
Monitor your speed. Take a look at the path in front of you. Make sure you know how to operate your brakes. And you need to have some good overall coordination, balance.
Now, it's not clear exactly what happened in the moments leading up to that scooter crash here in the tidal basin. We did reach out to U.S. Park Police for more information and an interview today. We have not yet heard back. In Southwest D.C., I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
All right, Randy, thank you. And let's turn over to meteorologist Damon Matson for another look at our forecast, our first look here. And Damon, we are expecting more rain in our area, seeing some green on the radar.
Yeah, passing showers out there, Annalisa, making it soggy for a good many of us. Others, well, it's just some light drizzle at the end of the day. And thankfully, this is not causing us too many issues, just maybe a few headaches as you try to wrap up your Wednesday here. Yeah, these showers, they really started to fill in here across the DMV. Shortly after lunchtime, we're seeing the bulk of that rainfall and the steadier rainfall at that up across north central Maryland. We just have those light rain showers that are dissipating as they move east across northern Virginia over into the district. All in all, not that much rainfall has really totaled up across much of the region, as we have on our radar or our rainfall total map here. Those darker blues, barely a trace across many of our southern counties and into the district. Some of these heavier amounts that you see off to the north, much of this fell yesterday in Frederick, parts of Carroll County there, but we have been adding on to that, go figure, in some of the same locations where that steady rain is continuing to tally up over an inch. So we'll keep the soggy weather around. Scattered showers show no signs of really letting up, at least through sunset. There will be some dry breaks as we head into the overnight hours, but all in all, it's going to stay cloudy, damp, very muggy as rainfall continues to be in the forecast heading into our Thursday. We'll talk about the timing with that, when you'll need to be ready for more of that soggy weather before the week is done. It's coming up in your full forecast here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Well, new today, a woman has now been stabbed near I-295 in Southeast D.C., according to police. It happened near Suitland Parkway around 1 this morning. That woman was taken to a local hospital, and right now there's no update on her condition. Police have made an arrest since then. We'll be sure to post that on our website, dcnewsnow.com. Also new today, a New York judge warning 2 DOJ officials they could be sanctioned in the United Healthcare CEO murder case. The judge saying at least 2 officials possibly broke court rules for reposting comments the president made about Luigi Mangione, the man accused of murdering CEO Brian Thompson. Now that includes a clip posted on Twitter from September 18th when President Trump went on Fox News and called Mangione, quote, a pure assassin. A DOJ spokesperson reposting the clip saying the president is, quote, absolutely right, and that post was reposted by an associate deputy attorney general allegedly. Now defense lawyers argue the comments have prejudiced the public in this case. Mangione pleaded not guilty to multiple charges. The Department of Justice has not yet responded to the news there. And right now we're following developing news out of Dallas, Texas, where 3 people were shot at an immigration facility. We've now learned a shooter with a rifle opened fire from a nearby roof adjacent to a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement office. And police say that person shot 3 detainees, killing 2 of them before taking his own life. Investigators say the bullets had anti-ICE messaging written on them. Today, Vice President J.D. Vance are addressing that incident.
We do feel pretty confident this was a motivated left-wing political attack, and that I think goes to show that we have way too much of this in our country, especially in the last couple of weeks. And I'd encourage everybody to really tone down the rhetoric when it comes particularly to our law enforcement and our ICE agents.
According to Acting ICE Director Toddy Lyons, no ICE agents or other law enforcement were injured in that incident. We do know the 1 detainee who survived the shooting is in critical condition. DC News Now's Kristen Escow will have the latest from Capitol Hill in the next half hour. D.C. police announcing the arrest of a woman who allegedly tried to stab a D.C. police officer with a butcher knife. Police say 40-year-old Melody Brevard of Hillcrest Heights, Maryland, was arrested yesterday. That incident happened on Sunday, September 7th, when an officer tried to stop a vehicle on South Capitol Street in Southwest Washington. Police say Brevard refused to exit her vehicle, then brandished the butcher knife and lunged at the officer while still inside her vehicle, and that she then put it in reverse and rammed the D.C. police cruiser several times until she sped away. She's charged with assault on a police officer and leaving the scene. An update on of a developing story in Northern Virginia now. A Fairfax County police officer is now on a restricted duty for allegedly hitting a woman while responding to a hit and run. It happened near Richmond Highway and Belford Drive on Hibla Valley last night. Now, investigators say this black 2016 C300 Mercedes hit that woman initially. They say 62-year-old Trina Jones was crossing the road when the car hit her. She later died at the hospital. If you have any information, police are looking for more details there. In our schools, the White House is slapping a massive new fee on sponsoring H-1B visa applications. That visa now allowing companies to hire international workers here in the U.S. DC News Now's Marielle Carbone is following this story for us. And Marielle, how could this impact schools here in DC?
Well, Annalisa, there are dozens and dozens of companies that hire people through this H-1B visa process, and perhaps the biggest is DC Public Schools. In schools across the district, international teachers are helping fill vital roles and reduce vacancies.
From our foreign language teachers to our ELL programming, dual language.
But the programs that rely on these teachers could now be in jeopardy.
We are highly concerned
as the White House moves to make it more expensive to hire foreign workers.
There's obviously a lot of fear. I think there's also just a bit of resignation.
One of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H-1B non-immigrant visa program.
Last week, the White House announcing a stark change to the H-1B visa program, which allows international workers with specialized skills to be employed in the U.S. on a temporary basis up to 6 years. Companies will now be required to pay a $100,000 fee to sponsor new H-1B applicants.
The whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic.
The idea of now having to pay $100,000, is that doable?
No, it definitely isn't.
According to data from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, more than 330 people have been employed with DC Public Schools through the H-1B visa process over the last 5 years, making it the highest employer of H-1B workers in the district.
We know that teachers probably weren't the main target of this executive order. Of course, they're now collateral damage.
And this change by the White House comes a few months after DC Public Schools actually ended its green card program, which allowed a pathway for people working here on this type of visa to get permanent citizenship. That is a move that the Washington Teachers Union is strongly against. And we did reach out to DCPS about this, and we are still waiting back for any comment. Reporting live in Northwest DC, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
Marielle, thank you. And staying in the district now, housing on the RFK Stadium campus could take longer to build than originally promised. Last week, D.C. Council passing the $4 billion deal to bring the Commanders back to D.C. In addition to the 65,000-seat stadium, the deal also includes up to 6,000 residential units. But Chairman Phil Mendelson said phase one of the housing, which is intended to open alongside the stadium in 2030, could take several years longer because the campus needs to be rezoned.
In order for it to be rezoned, there has to be an amendment to the comprehensive plan. And in order for there to be an amendment to the comprehensive plan, not only does legislation have to be submitted to the council, but then it has to go through a National Capital Planning Commission review. These steps will take time.
And even after the zoning issue is resolved, the project designs will also need to be approved. Mendelson says the deal could take 3 years or even longer.